This is the Connoisseurs of Pop Culture podcast with Henkka and Ville.
Welcome to the podcast once again. My name is Ville and my co-host is...
And I'm Henkka.
Yes.
Yeah.
And today's subject is...
Captain America Civil War.
Yes.
We're going to war, but we're very civil about it.
Yes. So, after tea.
Yes. So, I guess we should probably check the trailer just, to
Yes.
have some sort of thing at the beginning. So let's see that and...
Yeah, and perhaps just to clarify that this is sort of a review because both of us went to actually see it at the movies.
Yes, and of course it's gonna contain spoilers. So...
Yeah, so if you haven't seen it already...
Why not?
We could, yeah. We might have the, let's say, slight. We'll warn when we start to go to the spoilers, but we maybe have some general reactions and then go to spoilery. But
yeah, but you should consider this to be sort of like spoilery in entirety.
It's spoilery, so we will start with the spoilers at some point, but we will give a warning when we go to that. So we will have a slight overview and then go to the...
Okay, so let's see the trailer.
Yes.
Sometimes I want to punch you in your perfect teeth. I know we're not perfect. But the safest hands are still our own.
Hey everyone.
So yeah, that was Captain America Civil War trailer.
Yes. So, what did you think about the movie? Did you like it? Did you hate it?
I hated it. No, I love it. I think it's probably one of the best Marvel movies so far. I think it's somewhere close to Avengers 1 and it's sort of like it starts at the same level for me as Winter Soldier, but but it goes beyond that. There's just so much cool stuff happening in there. So because I really like first Iron Man, then first Avengers, and then Winter Soldier, and now this is like, I think these are probably my top 4 films of the MCU. So
What about Ant-Man?
oh yeah, Ant-Man too. Yes, yes.
So
And-
that's
and-
top 5 then.
So basically, it's yeah. I think I'd probably say that Ant-Man and Iron Man are sort of like at the same level because they're both like pretty cool movies. Of course, Ant-Man is a lot more like funnier in many parts because Paul Rudd is a pretty good comedian. But yeah.
Yeah. So I also liked the movie.
But how much?
Pretty much. I would say it's probably, at least at the moment, my favorite Marvel movie. So of course, haven't seen many of the movies after the theater release, so you might have rewatched some of them more recently than I have. But the current feeling that I have is that that this is probably the one of the better movies. Definitely better than Avenger 2.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
So-
Age of Ultron isn't bad, but it's not like it's
Yeah,
not as good as like Avengers 1 or this.
yeah. I was a bit surprised that I liked it so much. I was expecting that this will be a sort of good movie,
Yeah,
but I was surprised how much I ended up liking it. So maybe not having a sort of ultra high expectations in a way, other than it will be a good action movie, that it sort of was better than I expected.
yeah, yeah,
So after the spoilers,
yeah. So of course, well,
spoiler warning, spoiler warning,
well,
spoiler warning.
yeah, probably spoiler warning at this point.
Yeah,
on-
so skip to the end of the podcast if you don't want any spoilers. Skip to the
So basically, this is it. This is it for you who doesn't want to be spoiled.
Yes, exactly. But write to the comments if you don't want to be spoiled, and write your opinion and rate us and put your like markings and
And subscribe.
yes,
Okay, so now that is
out
is
of the
done.
way.
Yeah,
Yes.
out of the way. So yeah, it was really good. I think I like the action, but I also like the drama side of the thing because it was handled really well. It was
Yeah, it was
like
very well balanced.
yeah, and the sort of the aspect of like war between the heroes was done quite well. I think, at least to me, it felt like okay, this could happen because the sort of the starting point was organic in a way, that it was like okay, I can see that maybe some of those people would like to have some sort of like register for superheroes, and some might not like it because, as we've seen in the real world, like when you like give big guns to a group of suits instead of like some other people, they might start using them for their own benefit instead of like the common good, like
No.
what you see like the heroes usually do. So
Yeah. One thing to point out that well, the movie sort of started with sort of a escalation point where we had the one lone Hydra agent crossbow in the movie.
Yes.
Crossbones.
yes.
And
Did you-
he sort of decided not to stay in one piece in the movie, and
Yeah.
he wasn't around after the after the beginning, but it's sort of he did his part sort of for the movie.
Yeah,
A bit of same. Might have maybe have seen him later on if Red Skull will return. He would have belonged to his crew sort of, but
yeah. I think it was the Crossbones had pretty good motivation for like killing himself, which then resulted in the
as
explosion
much as
because
it was sort of established in few words, but it seemed fitting enough.
yeah, because he had like this grudge against Captain America from the Winter
Previous
Soldier movie.
adventures that
Yeah,
were not sort of.
and I think he was like a gun for hire, like a mercenary in this movie. But I'm not sure
Yeah,
what
but Hydra mercenary still, I think.
was he Hydra? Because I'm not sure because did they
They say Hydra. Yeah.
I'm not sure if anyone said like maybe they did because they were stealing like some sort of like poison or like a toxic chemical or something, but I don't know who they stole it for.
I thought they said that he was Hydra. I'm not.
It could be. It could be. I'm not. I don't remember completely what that was, but they were stealing some chemical and basically the heroes. There was Captain America, Black Widow, and Falcon were there, and that they were chasing them and trying, and of course Scarlet Witch was there also,
Right.
and they were trying to chase them down,
and then and when Crossbones sort of decided to blow in pieces,
trying to take Captain America with him.
Yeah, and
the
Scarlet
explosion.
Witch sort of what teleported. Well, not
No,
teleported.
no. She like she put the force field, like her magic, and tried to like basically keep inside the force field the explosion, and but I think it was too powerful for her, and then she probably thought that maybe if she like throws it up in the sky and then it explodes there, it might not cause damage, but she wasn't able to lift him up far enough, so instead of exploding in the sky, it exploded next to a building and killed like 14 people or something in an office building.
11, I think it was.
11. Okay, yeah. But anyway, like
can't you count your casualties, man? Don't you care?
They were NPCs.
Maybe it was 14, I'm not sure.
Yeah, but anyway, and it was like some sort of office building that was the emissaries from Wakanda, the mysterious African nation. They were like residing in the building and they were killed.
How can a nation be mysterious?
Because it's like this like closed.
Oh, like North Korea.
Yeah, sort of like that. And they were killed there. So
North Korea had its own super.
But so they were killed, and then the UN was like, okay, we need to put some sort of reins on these heroes, and I think the Wakandan king was like the one who was like basically leading the registration act. And then there were like the bomb attendant like in the UN building, and the king of Wakanda died, and it was like Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier, had returned and then assassinated him. That was like how the plot started going forward, because then they had the Registration Act thing, and then they had to basically find Bucky before the cops find him and kill him. And so there were like these two layers in the story. Basically, they had the sort of like the overarching like starting point for the Civil War, and then they had this like basically a rescue mission or hunting Bucky Barnes. And of course there was the Captain America and Iron Man relationship, because these two guys were friends, but now they were like on the different sides of the
Yeah.
of the Registration Act thing, where
Yeah.
Iron Man or Tony Stark wanted everyone to get registered, and Captain America was like, no, 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 we have to stay free because we don't want to be used as weapons by any of the United Nations countries or like officials or anything.
Yeah, I found it interesting that sort of the whole thing went forward from, sort of minor casualties in scale of casualties in some hero movies, because it was it was sort of in a way realistic take, sort of, that it doesn't take 1,000 million people dead.
Yeah, that's true.
That it sort of starts to spiral out of control, especially sort of compared to the casualty number in Man of Steel, probably, when they
That's
fuck
true.
up the
Yeah,
whole shit. Superman's home, was it Metropolis or
yes.
So they
Yeah.
sort of
Yeah, the basically the original incident was quite realistic in a way.
believable. Let's put it.
Yeah,
that
believable.
yeah.
And the bombing attempt at the UN was also sort of like, it wasn't like some sort of crazy neutron bomb or like something like that. It was basically sort of like a normal.
Yeah, and what I liked really much was that the superheroes actually cared and were sort of really, really shocked that a few people died.
Yeah.
Because Superman didn't give a shit.
Yeah, and they were also like, when they were
like,
and they were also, everyone was like, every one of the superheroes was like wondering whether or not they should like join the.
Yeah, there was compelling reasons, sort of.
Yeah, they were like, okay, maybe I should or maybe I shouldn't. So it was like, it wasn't like, no, I will never do it. It was more like, yeah, maybe, but I'm still a bit like unsure about these things because this and that might lead to this even more like a worse thing than now or something like that. So.
And then Captain America said, "You will never take our guns only from our dead cold hands."
And then he turned into Charlton Heston. No. The Cap was basically like he understood what they were going after, but he was so afraid that because they were so powerful that they could use those powers to.
Yeah, don't disarm us.
Yeah.
NRI.
Yeah, and then they were like, well, what about like Hulk and Thor and so forth, and they were like trying to compare them to like nuclear weapons and.
Thor didn't come up to sign anything.
Yeah, Thor was probably like, I don't give a shit. I'm Thor.
And Hulk can't write.
Yeah. And the Hulk was, of course, missing from this movie because in the end of Age of Ultron, Bruce Banner decides that he is gonna go away and probably try to live as Bruce Banner instead of the Hulk. So I think one of the characters was like asking like, what about Bruce Banner or the Hulk? And then there was like, was it Black Widow who said like, well, what do you think? Whose side would he go if he was here? And it was like implied that the Hulk would never side with the Registration Act.
Yeah, but the movie didn't really need the Hulk or
well,
Thor.
If I don't think the movie would have even be possible in a way it was now if there were Hulk and Thor, because they are so overpowered compared to anyone else that it would be like the Hulk versus everyone or Thor versus everyone. I mean, no one would stand a chance basically at that point.
It could be. Well, the Iron Man still has the Hulkbuster armor, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean,
Thor could be against against Hulk. I don't know.
Yeah,
for some reasons,
but didn't like the Hulk basically rip the Hulkbuster armor like in pieces, like
I
almost
don't
in
remember.
the Age of Ultron.
But Tony can always build a Mark II
Yeah, that's true.
or two Hulkbuster armors.
So yeah, it, I really like the movie. Yeah, and there's of course one thing everyone probably was waiting for in the movie was the introduction of Spider-Man.
But you had forgotten that he's in the film.
Yeah, I was like, when I was watching the movie, I was like, wait a second, what's this? Was it like Queens? I think it was like
Yeah.
there were these title cards like in the movie where things were happening, and then there was like suddenly there was like I think Tony Stark says something like, yeah, I know I might know a guy or something like that, and then it's like Queens, and I was like, who the hell is in Queens? I mean, Ant-Man wasn't in Queens, and then it goes like to this young kid's apartment, and it's like, holy crap, that's actually Peter Parker. And I think that they did the introduction and basically the origin story for the Spider-Man pretty cleverly, just by Tony Stark and Peter Parker like talking to each other, and where
Yeah, they didn't go to great details, just enough.
yeah,
so,
yeah, they were.
I mean, I don't think the general audience really needed any more of a backstory.
Yeah, we've seen
Most
Uncle
of
Ben being
seen some movie by now.
yeah, Uncle Ben has been killed in like 2 movie series already, so we don't need to see that again. Not like in every goddamn Batman movie we have to see it. Like I think it was in Batman vs Superman was also the
I haven't seen that one.
but that had also the scene. But there was basically like Tony Stark was like asking Peter Parker like, why is he doing that? And he's like, Peter Parker is like, well, I was thinking like what would happen if I didn't, and then he thought that he would feel so much guilt of not helping because he can help, so that's why he became Spider-Man. And Tony Stark is like, so what are you? Are you like a Spiderling, the amazing Spider Boy, or something like that? And it's like, I'm Spider-Man. And then he takes like the uniform, and it's like, well, not in these onesies or whatever he's like holding there. But you can see that the Peter Parker is like this poor kid that doesn't have much money, and he's like dumpster diving for electronics and stuff like that, and it's awesome. And then there's the like classic thing where Tony Stark is like basically saying to Peter Parker like, okay, I have this offer for you to join his team, and Peter Parker is like, okay, is there going to be a monetary compensation? Because he's like, if he's gonna be part of like some sort of superhero team, he wants pay. So it's like that was so hilarious, because I've seen like this weird like a comic strip on the internet where there's like Tony Stark and Bruce Wayne are fighting, and they're fighting by throwing money at each other because they're both like super rich. So they're basically throwing like dollar bills or something like that at each other. And then there's the last frame where you can see it from further away, and you can see that Peter Parker is actually like on his knees on the floor, like gathering all the dollar bills like in his like hands, like he's like needs all the money, and the other guys are just throwing it away. So that was like funny little thing.
They played each other pretty well, so it will be interesting to see the Spider-Man Homecoming movie.
Yeah, because
which will have both Tony Stark and Peter Parker. So
yes,
so that should be fun just based on this movie.
Indeed.
And I have to say that the big fight scene, which wasn't the final fight, but was the big fight scene, was I think between all the superheroes.
Yes.
At the airport. I mean, I'm sort of a person usually that might get bored in modern fight scenes in the movies, but this was really dynamic, and it it wasn't. It was easy to follow, and it didn't have all these sort of super shaky cams and stuff like that. It was really well directed, and it had action, and it had humor, and
Yes. Yeah, even if the
and few surprises, and it's sort of it was just very enjoyable to watch.
yeah, and it was so well done in a way, like with the tone of the fight, because it wasn't like you'd see like in some sort of martial arts or like a modern action movie where people are fighting with fists and punching each other like that. It was more like it actually looked uh, like when superheroes fight in comic books. It's like this big like dude is punching like the other guy like once and then he flies and then the other guy punches once and it was like more like this grandiose like beating each
Yeah,
other
it was
up.
very sort of coordinated. Everyone used their powers, and they had effect, and it sort of it was interesting to follow. It wasn't just your average guys pounding each other and stuff like that.
Yeah, and there was like it was intense fight, but it was funny. But there was always like the underlying like sort of deeper and a bit more like dramatic or darker stuff like in the base, like underneath all the comedic relief and action. That there was like stakes in the fight still.
Yeah, it had trauma in it, so
Yeah.
there was some reasons to it, but it didn't feel anything like overly dark or anything. It was entertaining.
Yeah.
And it sort of didn't feel like overly serious while you still sort of believe the motives of the
Yeah,
characters.
it wasn't like brooding dark, but it was like that there is the heavy undertone of the situation, like overall situation that what they're fighting for. That was like still there, but it wasn't like this uh like super depressing kind of like undertone.
No, it wasn't bleak or anything.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it dark. I would just say that there was drama there.
Yeah, maybe that's a better word. Yeah, that's true. And oh, yeah, and Ant-Man. God damn it, that was so hilarious. I mean, there were so many funny things, like that part where Ant-Man is basically like Hawkeye shoots like this like super weird special arrow, and he shoots it like behind Tony Stark, and then it explodes into these fragments that come back. And Tony Stark is able to shoot most of them, but one of the fragments is like Ant-Man is like riding the part of the arrow. And then he like lands on Tony Stark's armor and runs inside the armor and starts like breaking the armor from the inside. And then because Ant-Man is a bit like Spider-Man in the movie, that they're both like trash talking as they fight. And Tony Stark is like, "Who's speaking?" And Ant-Man is like, "It's your conscience. We don't talk too often." It was so funny. It was like, oh my god, that was like the best part of the movie. And
yeah, I really like that they didn't put it in the trailer or anything like that.
Yeah, that's true. And then there was the like other like surprise, basically power that Ant-Man has. You want to tell about it?
Oh yeah, well it's in the comics as well that he can shrunk, but he can also multiply his size. So
Yes.
he sort of King Kong size.
Yeah, and it goes like I know this one thing. I've only tried it once, and immediately afterwards I like passed out. But I can try it, so be ready. And then he starts like expanding into this like colossal figure that starts like really. Yeah, it's like, and I think he takes like was it like War Machine's legs, and he starts like swinging him like around and round and round and throws him like somewhere. Like it was so hilarious. And then there's
Stark said, "Does anyone else have any amazing hidden power?"
Yeah, it's like Tony Stark is like, okay, guys, So now if anyone has anything like super secret or awesome powers, now would be the time to tell. It was,
Yeah,
and
it's just great.
yeah.
That was really well made.
And of course, because Disney owns Star Wars, there was the Peter Parker is like thinking like everyone is trying to just attack Ant-Man's like the large Ant-Man, and Peter Parker is like the only one in there who's like, uh, you guys know this really old movie where they're like on this ice planet and they have like these flying vehicles, and then there's like these four-legged like really tall things, and they're like wrapping like ropes around their legs to try to topple them over, and it's like, and it's called Empire Strikes Back. It was like super funny fun. And then they basically deal with Ant-Man by Peter Parker swinging around his legs with the web like multiple times, and then they just like, I think they punch him like in the face at the same time, like War Machine and Iron Man or something like that, and then he like falls down and basically breaks half like a jet plane or something like that.
Yeah.
But it was so funny and awesome looking stuff.
Yeah, it was the best fight, sort of, and sort of best moment of the movie. The sort of final fight with the villain of the movie, Mr. Zemo or Gemo,
Zemo or something like that.
Zemo.
Yeah,
Yeah, how do you pronounce it?
yeah.
Which
But
wasn't really sort of confrontation. He didn't really fight or anything. He
yeah,
just sort of got them to fight each other a bit more. But
yeah, because like now it's like the super spoiler of the movie
yeah,
is
but yeah,
basically, I think it was like Zemo was like one of the Sokovian people who survived the Age of Ultron thing, but his whole family was died in the
yeah,
uh, aftermath.
yeah.
And
So it's sort of interesting because Zemo is one of the villains from Marvel books. I don't know if you looked him up after the movie.
actually, I haven't.
So he's sort of very different looking. He's Baron Zemo in the
Yeah. Here he wasn't like anything super. He was just like this, like
Yeah, I guess there's potential that he will develop to something because he basically just went to jail in
yeah, in the weird confinement cell that originally housed the Winter Soldier.
yeah. I presume that he will be transferred to the thing in the middle of the ocean or something. They can't. At least I don't know. I mean, you can't keep a human being tied up like that for
That's true.
years if you start thinking about it. But I don't know
But
if
they
you're
did
supposed
say,
to think about it.
but they did say like in the end when he was like in the special confinement cell that they were like listing that he has like 2 bathroom breaks every day and 2 meals, and then he had like 15 or 30 minute like exercise hour every day. But I suppose, I don't know, maybe they
And,
take him to the Supermax prison in the middle of the
yeah,
sea.
which probably has some sort of same rights. I mean, in a way, it's a bit strange that he was put in sort of a cell because he doesn't have any superpowers or anything like that.
Yeah.
He was
Or
just,
does he?
well, not in the movie.
Who
At
knows?
least not told to us.
Yeah, that's true.
He was just super clever, I guess.
Yeah. But like he's basically what he was after in the end. He did like basically set up Bucky to take the blame for the UN bombing. But then it was
Mm.
revealed later that when someone found the real who the Zemo was impersonating, they found the
Yeah.
real body, and then they figured out that Bucky was actually innocent and he didn't do what he was accused of being doing. But the Zemo's actual what he was really after was to basically sick the heroes against each other by revealing that Captain America's best friend Bucky Barnes, aka the Winter Soldier, was the person who killed Tony Stark's parents. And that was like his basically the Joker card in his deck, was the final revelation. And even if Tony knew that Bucky Barnes was basically brainwashed to do the killings, he didn't care at that point at all. He just went completely ballistic.
Yeah, they did it in sort of phases. That it's first sort of like, oh come on, Tony. I mean, it was 30 years ago, X amount of years ago. I don't know when it happened, and I mean, okay, it's dramatic that someone kills, but he wasn't himself. He was sort of a thrown to do it. So
yeah,
why play to the bad guy's pocket and start fighting?
Yeah,
fighting that guy right now. But it's sort of was explained in phases that first he probably didn't realize or didn't know that Bucky was under mind control, and then Captain told him about it, but at that point he just didn't care anymore.
Yeah, and because there were first was the like the beginning of the movie, there was already the sort of like antagonistic situation between Captain America and Tony Stark, because they didn't share the same ideals. And
there was some, of course, other packets already.
Yeah. So it was like basically Tony realized that Bucky Barnes wasn't guilty of the attacks, and then he was probably like, oh shit, I didn't like see this through like in the beginning, and I almost got like the wrong guy killed. But then it was still revealed that Bucky did something. So I don't know, maybe he just like couldn't comprehend things. And then of course he was basically in the beginning of the movie he was showing like a simulation of his teenage years or something, with the last day with his parents and all that kind of stuff. And then there was the
it's sort of interesting that Tony Stark's father is played by two people in the Marvel continuity.
Yeah, the old
guy is played by the guy from the what was the advertisement series?
Mad Men.
Mad Men. The guy from Mad Men, and the
younger guy
the younger one in
is played by the dude who is now starring in the Preacher TV series also.
Oh, he will be there. Oh,
yeah.
Okay, but the younger one is shown in the Peggy Carter.
Agent Carter. Series. Yeah, and also in the first
which apparently won't be continuing. I was at least reading somewhere that it didn't get the numbers.
Oh, so it wasn't.
So the third season is unlikely.
Okay.
But the second wasn't. Well, this isn't. Well, let's not go into details about Agent Carter here, but just in general terms, I thought that second season, especially towards the end, wasn't so amazing. So.
Yeah, I think that second season was sort of, in a way.
It has good points, but it's sort of I don't know. I mean, the last episode was sort of a. I don't know. I was sort of expecting something else.
I think it might have been like it felt maybe a little bit rushed. I think it could have used like a few more
up so too conveniently and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, it could have used maybe a couple of more episodes, because there was like this is happening and now we are here.
If you have to do it.
Yeah, it was like now is this happening? Now we're here. Now we are there, and now we're here. It was like going really fast.
Yeah, but I don't know. They should have written it differently because they knew the number of episodes they had. So.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't know what happened there, but yeah, that's sort of confusing. I mean, I sort of, because they are so Otherwise, they're so consistent with use of actors, so I just sort of had to get my head around that. Okay, in the movies, it's this guy.
Yeah, but it
That-
was the dude who plays the uh, Stark's father in the Peggy Carter is also in the first Captain America movie. He's there.
Actually, I can't
Yeah,
remember.
yeah. He's there. He plays the
And he
Tony
was
Stark's.
he was also in Ant-Man movie, wasn't he?
I'm not sure if it was him or if it was the Madman dude.
Madman dude was in Ant-Man movie. I was saying.
Okay, so but the Agent Carter dude was in the first Captain America movie,
Oh, okay.
but that was taking place like in the 40s. So it's
Right.
but
Yeah, but it's one of those things that the age difference isn't that great that it could have been the same actor playing a bit older.
that's true. But then I'm not sure if I'm ready to take another old man makeup like in Prometheus or something. Because
Yeah, I get the point, but he's not that old like in Prometheus. I mean, just
well, but there's still like
prayer, but I don't know.
there's
Maybe it's a good way to do it like this.
but there's still like 40 years between like
Is it
when
so much?
yeah, because Agent Carter's second season is I think it's in the 50s or was it the
Oh, okay.
60s? I think it was somewhere like in the end in the like
But when is he
late 50s, early
assassinated?
60s. 1991.
Oh, it was that late. Okay.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't remember. Huh? Okay.
So it's at least 30 years.
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. I guess. Fair enough. I guess.
Yeah, but basically there was like Tony Stark had in the beginning he was like reminiscing his the death of his parents, and he was like creating this virtual reality with about the last day with his parents, and then there was I suppose he was like separated from Pepper Potts the
Yeah. Well, these
and
talked
then
about
there
it.
was that one,
They're on
and
break or something, but
yeah,
who knows?
and then Tony Stark was blamed for the death of the one young dude who was like also I think he was in Sokovia when the city was destroyed,
Yeah,
and
they sort of affected him too.
yeah,
I
yeah.
guess.
So basically, I think he just had so much like baggage at that point that it was too much for him, and then he couldn't just take it anymore, and he went batshit crazy.
Yeah. I guess so. Well, it worked very well, and we didn't discuss one of the new characters, which was Black Panther,
Oh yeah, Black
because
Panther.
he was pretty
Yes,
good. I mean, I like the actor very much,
yes, yes.
and he had sort of, I, I presume it's just invented accent that he had there, but
Yeah, but
it sort of felt appropriate.
yeah, I like the accent because it would have been weird if he just like spoken like basically regular
Yeah. So
American accent, but it was much more like it made him sound like he was actually from somewhere else with like different customs and
yeah, just like we have this great
yes,
accent here,
yes,
so.
exactly
It sounds like we are from what would be a good place in Marvel, or where we would be from.
from Finland.
I wonder has Finland been acknowledged by Marvel continuity in any way?
I
Is
don't know.
anything from Finland in Marvel continuity?
Probably not, but the Winter Soldier probably would be the closest one because he's like storage in Russia or something.
Yeah, but that's no cigar, man.
But yeah, so Black Panther was really cool, and so he's from the like I think he's from I mean he's from Wakanda, and Wakanda is like as far as I understood it's like this really like closed country.
Middle of Africa. They did show it on the map too. I don't know what's really in there, but
Yeah, and it I if I understood correctly, it's like pretty like advanced, like technologically advanced nation. Like
yeah, well, hard to say really from it was covered so little in the movie.
Yeah, but I think I've read somewhere else that it is, and there's of course the
So they have internet in this jungle.
yeah, but remember that they were storing. Again, this is like spoilers, but in the end of the
Yeah,
movie,
we
the
said the
first
spoiler warning about 30 minutes ago.
yeah, so at the end of the movie, the first credit scene shows Captain America taking Bucky Barnes into Wakanda, where he's stored in like cryogenic containment unit or something, and they're
Yeah,
like
so they can
super yeah
figure out how to get the brainwashing out of his head.
yeah, and it's like pretty like advanced technology that they have there.
Yeah,
So
that's
I was
true.
I was
And they
thinking
have, and the
yeah.
whole Panther statue that they're inside, I guess that takes
Yeah.
some skill to make.
That's true. And of course, the Wakanda is the only country in the world in the Marvel universe that produces or that has any vibranium, the like metal
Oh,
alloy that Captain America's shield is made of.
right. By the way, was that Black Panther? It seemed like that the whole statue of Panther was made of some sort of special material. Was it maybe made of that special?
I don't know, maybe it did look like weird, like sort of like it was like black stone, but it wasn't
Yeah.
but it
So
wasn't
if
like
that's made of that special metal, then it's pretty hard to break into.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But did you see like a couple of times where Black Panther was fighting Captain America that when Captain America's shield was really close to his like the ring, they were starting to vibrate like together, and they both
Oh,
were
I
like
didn't
they
notice.
both were like, what the hell is happening here? And it was like the shield was like really
I
like
didn't pay attention to that.
yeah, it was so weird. I was like, thinking like what's happening? Is it like if they're like
They're forming a
two
band.
yeah, maybe I don't know, but at least there might be some connection with the ring and the shield or the material of the shield or something, or I don't know. It looked like Black Panther's
Or
entire
they're getting some sort of vibe. I mean, Captain America is single and so is Black Panther. Now they went together to this jungle hideout
and yes,
ding, 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 ding.
now we are basically stepping into the what is this fan fiction zone.
No, this is just theories, man. Valid theories.
But I saw that the Black Panther's entire like armor was it made from vibranium also, because it basically withstood like machine gun fire, and he didn't even like blink or anything. He was just standing there, and the dudes were shooting from a helicopter, and he was standing just on the roof like, what's happening here? And then it was like the bullets were just like bouncing off of him like completely, and or at least some parts of the armor is probably made from vibranium. But,
Yeah, and we also other new things. I think at least maybe we saw a glimpse of it in end of Avengers, second Avengers, but Scarlet Witch had her uniform as well.
yeah, was it in the
I
movie?
don't think, I'm not sure if she had it in the very end of the second Avenger movie, but
It was in the very end where the Captain America and Black
yeah,
Widow
I was
are
thinking she might
yeah,
have
it
had
was
there, but it
Well-
was there. No headgear though, but I guess it doesn't matter.
yeah, that's true. It might look weird. having that.
I guess it could. It's sort of cool in the comics still, so and sort of
Yeah.
like it's sort of witchy
but,
like.
but I think she has like a cape also or something like that. in the
Yeah,
comics.
well, sort of okay. It's sort of a long coat or something, isn't it?
Might
think.
be maybe. But did you know that Scarlet Witch is actually Magneto's daughter?
I didn't remember. I might know it, but
Also, of course, Pietro is also like Quicksilver is also.
right. But we'll see if we get the X-Men in this continuity ever, because X-Men seems to be the only property that works for Fox.
Yeah, but I read somewhere that now there might be actually some sort of like rumors about Marvel bringing the X-Men into the cinematic universe with some deal, but who knows if it happens actually.
Yeah, I would think that the Fantastic Four 4 would happen faster because that hasn't gone well with.
Yeah, but Marvel
That's been the more bigger film than the Spider-Man for
but
them.
Marvel basically stopped making even Fantastic Four comics after the second movie.
But I mean, I presume Marvel still wants to sort of include them too, if they can.
Well, yeah, I mean,
but maybe they want to buy them outright.
they're waiting until they're gonna sell them with no money at all. They were like, okay, take them back. We don't need them anymore.
Yeah, but maybe they're doing some sort of deal, trying to make some sort of deal again. Because even if they don't need the Fantastic Four heroes, they probably would like to have the few of the villains. I mean, Doctor Doom and
yeah, that's true.
He's pretty cool.
Also, in the Civil War comic books, Reed Richards is actually, I think, he and Tony Stark, I think, were the ones who basically built the jail or the prison that they are keeping the heroes in, but they built it in another dimension.
Oh, of course, but it's just in scene in this movie.
Yeah, that's.
And I presume it will be used again to store some bad guys as well. I would presume.
Might be. I mean, I think
at least the human bad guys.
Yeah, that's probably yeah. But yeah, and in the movie the thing that kicks it off in the beginning is the failed attempt to catch the Crossbones, but in the comic books it's like these third-rate superheroes trying to catch these third-rate villains and then ending up exploding a suburban area.
Right. But it's basically the same idea. So.
Yeah, it was. I think it was like they.
Or were you feeling like that? Oh no, they changed the comic book. Now I can't like this movie.
Yeah. I mean, they did really good job with basically how they played the.
Right.
Yeah.
I haven't read the Civil War comic book, so I can't really compare myself.
Yeah. Spider-Man was
it by Millard?
Miller. Yeah, there were 4 people I think there in total. And in the Civil War comic book, Thor isn't there, but there is a cyborg Thor.
Okay. Why not?
Who is I think he's this robot that's basically built by I think Tony Stark or someone who has the powers of Thor, and he's this super badass who basically kicks the shit out of everyone, completely wastes them.
And I probably think that it's a good idea that it wasn't in the movie.
Yeah, but it was just to show that if Thor or Hulk was in this movie, it would have been a pretty different movie. Because
maybe a bit different than the comic counterparts in some regards still.
Yeah, in the comic book. In the comic book, there's okay, now we're gonna throw in the robot Thor, and then the heroes who are on Tony Stark's side are yeah, now the cavalry arrives, but then when they see how brutal the robot Thor is, they're holy shit, this is going way beyond what anyone was even expecting, and he's killing people, they're zapping them with the lightning and shit like that. It was super brutal thing.
Okay.
And
that sounds like Miller to me.
Yeah, and also of course the Punisher makes a quick I think he's in one of the 5 issues. He basically saves Spider-Man, who's being hunted by evil guys sent by Tony Stark to when he's jumping ship from Tony's side to Captain America's side, and then they go hunt for Spider-Man, and then Punisher saves him before he's like beaten to death, and basically kills everyone in there because he's the Punisher, and he's like, yeah, I just saved like Spider-Man and everything like that, and he's like, I can do this, and so on and so forth, and I think someone also basically joins Captain America's side from Tony Stark's side, but the Punisher is like basically kills him in front of everyone, and Captain America's like, okay, dude, you gotta get out of here. You can't be with us. You're like too deadly. It's weird, and of course Frank Castle, who is the most reasonable person in the universe, leaves the place.
Yeah, but it sounds a bit different in tone than the movie was, and I'm not the biggest fan of Miller in other comics.
It's not a bad comic.
It'd be interesting to see how I would like it. Maybe it's on the Marvel Unlimited thing. I could check it there. Maybe.
Yeah. It's not a bad.
Because I think I still have the subscription on, and I haven't checked it in like 2 months. I think.
Yeah.
So that's subscription well paid again.
Yeah. It's not like bad comic book or anything. It's just like it probably wouldn't like translate to film like word for word, which of course is something that.
Yep, I'm still paying for it. I'm just looking in bills.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Maybe I should choose it.
So yeah. But
overall a great good movie. So that was really entertaining. So high hopes for the next big thing, which will be what?
Doctor Strange is the next.
Right,
and then
I don't know. I'm still not excited about that, but maybe it will change.
Yeah. I'm not sure if there's gonna be like next summer the second Guardians of the Galaxy movie, and after that Infinity Wars 1 and 2.
So what year will Infinity Wars 1
I think
be out?
I think they
Is it next year?
No, I think they were like 2018 and 19.
Okay, so it's 2 years away still.
Yeah, I think that was how it went.
Okay.
If I'm not entirely sure, but I have like this.
But I guess Thanos will be around in the second Guardians of Galaxy to sort of base off the Infinity War.
Probably, maybe.
Because I sort of feel like that he should be maybe bit more used before the Infinity War.
Could be, but I don't even think that. Maybe Thanos doesn't even show up in the first part of the Infinity War. Just like in the end.
Well, depends how they adopt it, but if it's anything like the
Infinity Gauntlet, no.
comic book, I mean, Thanos would have sort of central role.
No, they can't do it like that. No.
Oh, yeah, well, they should. Maybe.
They shouldn't. That would be a horrible movie. It would
great
be like
stuff in there. Well, we'll have a separate episode about the Infinity Gauntlet comic,
which would be a horrible movie.
We have divided opinions. I think a bit.
Yes, it is. It's I don't understand why everyone thinks it's so great like comic book, because it's not. It's just like it's like a long ass episode of Dragon Ball Z, where after each episode
before Dragon Ball Z.
Well, yeah, but it's basically like maybe it's like a full season of Dragon Ball Z in one comic book, where there's like every time something happens, there's going to be a.
Are you saying Dragon Ball Z is bad?
Well, I don't really like that, but it's like, I mean, Infinity Gauntlet is basically like this. I'm the Thanos says, "I'm the baddest motherfucker in the planet, in the world," and then it's like, "We're gonna send a couple of superheroes there," and then Thanos beats them. "We're gonna send even better superheroes." Thanos beats them.
Are we going to have this discussion now or in the separate episode?
Separate episode, but I just had to say that.
And you're so wrong, so wrong. Yeah.
No, I'm right.
You don't see the brilliance of the comic.
No, I understand. Like,
and I usually like more grounded book, but I'll go into that in a separate episode because it needs more to talk about, and this would be too no point to connect the two to each other, and we probably should refresh our memory by rereading the Infinity comic before the podcast.
I'm just gonna like comment on this. Like, Ville is the dude who is like, he doesn't want Batman to be mixed with the other superheroes because it's gonna be too outlandish. Because Batman is supposed to be much more grounded, and then he's like,
especially like, with Superman, I don't.
Yeah, but then it's like, hey, I like Infinity Gauntlet, which basically has every superhero and villain, and then it has like the most powerful supervillain ever.
Try to figure that out.
So that's probably the one like exception that basically to the rule for you.
I mean, I'm a man of mystery, perhaps.
Perhaps, yes.
Wrapped in enigma.
Like a burrito.
What?
But yeah.
And then we can have another episode about 1966 Batman.
Well, that's gonna be an episode where you do the talking, and I'm just gonna be like, no, so wrong, so very wrong.
Well, I hope that our vast listeners who are listening to this podcast will show you the light and and correct you in the comments and or in real life, or send you tweets or something to correct your opinion, so you can see the light and fineness in Adam West's classical performance.
Indeed. Classic.
But we got from Civil War to Adam West, so that's pretty good.
That's true. But I think our overall.
By the way, did you feel, because when we discussed about the trailer for this movie, at least I think I mentioned that the Spider-Man felt too CGI in the trailer.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel that way in the movie for some reason.
No.
And my brain adjusted to how it works here, or was it just?
I don't know. It felt
better into the movie. I'm not sure, but it didn't bother me there.
It was just like in the trailer, he seems like a bit like flat, like the colors are like flat. Like that, there's like not enough like shadows or something highlights, but I didn't really feel it in the movie.
Neither did I. That's why I'm asking.
Because the suit is basically the same. There isn't like any CGI.
The same scene is in the movie. Although I think the
lines are different.
Are a bit different.
Yeah.
That's fairly easy for them to change because it was needed in the trailer there and the different lines, of course, for the movie, and no lip sync needed.
Yeah, and the line from the trailer was at some other part of the fight.
Yeah. But I liked it. And it's good that they do bit like that stuff, so it doesn't give too much away.
Yeah, that's true.
And the trailer was good in a way that it didn't give too much away from the movie. It didn't give out the best parts or anything like that.
Yeah. It was like
it was a good trailer.
It was in a similar way good to like The Force Awakens. because I just
Yeah, almost as good. Maybe if you, I was watching it today during the podcast, and maybe there was some few scenes that didn't need to be there, like the explosion in UN and stuff like that.
yeah,
But I
maybe.
didn't remember when I was watching it that there will be explosion in the UN. Although I expected something will happen, but
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a good trailer still at the moment.
Indeed, indeed.
And it didn't have the piano music that the damn don't have these days.
Oh yeah, the remix of some of like a classic theme song.
How will they do the Jaws remake when they do that? Will it have the slower piano music?
Yeah, of course it's gonna be like din 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 din, and then it goes to like or orchestral like string like violins or something instead of the piano or
Yeah,
something like
some
that.
woman singing and something.
So yeah, so that they basically lose the entire like den thing.
I presume they won't be remaking it while Spielberg is around, but who knows what happens.
Yeah, that's
That
true.
I don't know how the rights go, but and I just it's sort of a movie that doesn't really need a remake, but
Yeah, especially after the sequels that were horrible.
well, the sequels and they don't ruin the original one for me. But I mean, no,
Yeah.
original is pretty good. I like the original. It has good actors and it works.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, yeah, it is a classic.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
now we got from Civil War to Jaws.
indeed, indeed.
But yeah.
I was surprised just about the movie going experience in itself. I was surprised that like half of the theater like rose up and left immediately when the credits started rolling. I mean, it was like they haven't been into a Marvel movie before because there's always going to be at least one scene like end credit scene, and
You know, it
this is
always
two.
sort of happens in the theaters, but I think because we went to same showing and we went to earlier showing on Sunday, sort of
Yeah, matinee.
ended like 5 o'clock or something like that. So there was somewhat of families and stuff like that. So there may be going
Yeah,
in already somewhere or something like
but
that.
but, but
So
it was funny that some people when they were walking out, they saw like the Wakanda scene where Buggy Barnes is there in the cryo chamber thing, and they were standing like at the door like, wait a second, there's gonna be more movie here, and then the scene ends, and then they turn around and go away, and then you wait after the credits, after the entire credits, and then there's the Spider-Man scene,
yeah.
and
Yeah, but I would say sort of that neither of the scenes were vital to see in any way, but it was
well,
sort of nice extras.
I think
Especially the side Spider-Man was sort of didn't add much, but
well, Spider-Man didn't add like much in a way to the like the Thanos scenes sort of add
yeah,
in some of the other
yeah, there was
movies.
much more information that Bucky is under ice again.
Yeah, yeah,
More,
that was probably a good thing to show when the next like Infinity Wars or something happens and they have to go and fetch Bucky, or maybe Bucky is seen in the Black Panther movie. Who knows? He might be
no,
there also.
yeah,
So it was
I would
like
imagine that he won't be in the next movie or next few movies because he was put to the cryogenic sleep. So
yeah, yeah, he might
maybe it will be Mister Doctor Strange who will sort of free him from the brain.
maybe.
He does strange things with strange stuff.
He's the most powerful magician in the world.
Yeah, so he can fix him.
Yeah,
Well,
Doctor Strange is like weird dude in that he can always have like the most money in the world if he needs it. He can just like wish and have basically, if he's like, you have to
Does his
pay.
powers work like that? I
Yeah,
haven't seen
yeah.
it.
Someone was talking like it, like if he needed $300 million for something, then he would just like wish to have $300 million, and then he would be able to pay stuff with it. But yeah, I think I don't know. Maybe they will reference Bucky in the Black Panther movie, or and maybe he's gonna be one of the Avengers in the Infinity Wars, or maybe he even takes Captain America's place, like as a new Captain America when Steve Rogers dies.
Yeah, I guess that could happen. I mean, if the actor wants to go do other things and his deal's up.
And it happens in the comic books when
Yeah, so it could fit.
Yeah, there is actually a comic book called The Death of Captain America.
Yeah, that's probably a comic book about death of about any superhero.
Yeah, of course. But then after that, Bucky Barnes takes the mantle of Captain America for a while. I think I'm not sure.
Because I think there's a death of Spider-Man. There's death of Captain America. Has Tony Stark died yet? I can't remember.
I don't know, but at least he's been like rebooted a couple of times, because the first time he was captured in the, I think, World War II, and then it was like Vietnam, and then it was like the Iraq War in the latest, or Afghanistan.
Yeah, the reboot's a bit different.
But the first was Death of Superman. I suggest everyone to watch the Max Landis video about the Death of Superman and how it changed comic books forever.
I did see it, but yeah.
It's quite interesting, like basically analysis of how things went.
Okay.
And it basically talks about the behind the scenes things, like what happens in the publishers' boardrooms with these big heroes. So yeah, that's at least an interesting watch, if nothing else. But yeah, and the Spider-Man end credit scene was more like a teaser, sort of like, remember guys, Spider-Man returns, or Spider-Man will return. I think it was.
Yes.
And he had like Tony Stark's like technology with him or something. And of course, like in the Civil War comic book, Tony Stark made Spider-Man's new costume, which is also in that movie.
Yeah. We'll see what happens with that one. I presume they can use all the Spider-Man bad guys as well.
Yeah, I think someone said that Spider-Man movie is basically so that Sony has like the Sony basically owns the movie property of Spider-Man, but Marvel has like creative control over the movie.
Right.
Or something like that, and which is probably good, because now they can then like go further with the MCU tie-ins with like Tony Stark and stuff like that.
Yeah, it has still plenty to expand on, so it'll be interesting to see how far this sort of movie series go, because how many movies there has been already?
Let's see. Incredible Hulk, three Iron Man movies, that's 4. 2 Thor movies, that's 6. Now 3 Captain America movies, that's 9. Then there's Guardians of the Galaxy, 10. Ant-Man, 11. Avengers 1 and 2, it's like 13. And is there something else still?
Was this the 13th movie then?
13, that's 13. Like the 2 Avengers movies.
Yeah, was this the 13th movie then?
This was, if I remember correctly, this is the 13th movie, but is there anything that I missed in the...
Can't remember, at least.
I think it was probably all of them. Yeah, 13 movies so far. Then there's going to be Doctor Strange, Black Panther, 2 Infinity Wars movies, Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I think there was like Inhumans movie, but I'm not sure if that's happening now.
Yeah.
And then there's gonna be like at least 3 more series on Netflix: Luke Cage, Punisher, and Iron Fist. And then there's gonna be the Defenders like miniseries on Netflix, which combines Jessica Jones and Daredevil and Luke Cage and Iron Fist.
Oh, I didn't know about
Yeah,
that one.
that's gonna be like the more grounded superheroes, and they're not gonna be like in a movie. They're gonna be like in the sort of like, I think it was.
But
it's
that's
gonna be like
interesting if they're going to
miniseries.
have a different series. They have separate series for all of them, and then a series that they have them together.
Yeah, because they form the Defenders
Okay.
superhero group, and
So
that's.
does that mean that they will end in individual series, or is it just separate?
I think it's gonna be just like basically like an event comic book, where the different
All right,
storylines
so
combine, and then
series. Okay.
I think that it's gonna be
Who
something
will
like
they
that.
be fighting against?
I have no idea. Maybe there's gonna be like Kingpin and someone else, maybe. Who knows? Probably. I'd say probably Kingpin and I don't know. What are the enemies from Luke Cage and
I
Iron
have
Fist?
no idea and don't really know Luke Cage from the comics.
But
And Jessica Jones is sort of stranger to me as well.
Yeah, but she's like much newer comic book in anyway. I think she was like somewhere in the 2000s or something.
Well, I guess it's someone that they decide that they won't be using in the movies.
Yeah.
So some B rooster seat.
Yeah.
Although I guess Kingpin is sort of a A-list bad guy, but
And he's been like all around. He's been like in Spider-Man, and he's been
yeah, but
like
he's sort of Daredevil main bad guy. So
yeah, I suppose, yeah.
so it sort of fits there.
And I think they're gonna be like all of those 4 or now 5, because Punisher is also getting his series. There's gonna be they're a lot darker like in tone compared to the movies and the Agents of Shield TV series, because they're more like film noir type shows basically, where Agents of Shield is like sci-fi and Agent Carter is more like sort of sci-fi adventure type thing.
Something like that. Yeah, I haven't been following the Shield at all for a while. It's just lost interest in that one. Don't know if I revisit it at some point or not, but
Yeah.
just too many episodes per season. But I just felt that it didn't have the quality that some of the other Marvel series had.
Yeah.
It just didn't sort of keep up with me. But each with their own. So do we have any? I think we all sort of had our final thoughts about the movie already.
Yeah, like it's a
we both liked it, and
super cool movie, and go see it if you haven't already.
Super cool.
Yes, super cool.
So go see it, and yeah. Will there be more Captain America movies in the?
I don't actually know. I thought that I think that they were just like 3 Captain America movies and 3 Iron Man movies.
Right, will be interesting.
But of course they might be in like other movies as a side characters, and of course in Avengers movies.
Yeah, I was just reading a few months ago. I read the Marvel Unlimited, and I read sort of quite a few Captain America comics, and there was some interesting storylines there too. And I thought, especially Captain America and the sort of relationship with with the Red Skull and all his henchmen and stuff like that was included. You know, and I thought there was still potential sort of to use Red Skull and stuff like that because it sort of felt that the Red Skull versus Captain America there could still be something to do.
Maybe.
Because I mean, Red Skull is sort of they can reuse him again. I mean, he just sort of vanished in the.
Yeah, what did happen to him? I don't remember.
The cube thing sort of.
Did it suck him in like or something?
Yes, something like that.
Maybe he.
So I presume he could just.
Maybe we'll see him like in Infinity Wars or something like that.
Yeah, Hugo Weaving or whatever his name is. He has a 3-movie deal, so.
Yeah.
But apparently he has said that he didn't necessarily want to return because the makeup was horrible to wear.
Yeah, that's true. And he's been like in like 2 or 3 different movies where he has to have his face covered. Like in V for Vendetta, he had the mask, which was apparently horrible to wear, and then he had the Red Skull was in the Captain America and so
yeah, although it's been a few years, so they could maybe do the makeup differently and stuff like that.
That's true.
So who knows? I mean, opinions change, and if there's enough money, and I mean, he has the deal anyway, so he has to do it. So
yeah, so he has the deal, like multiple movies.
Apparently, he has 3-movie deal, and he's done one movie.
Okay.
So Marvel has the option to use him, but I don't know.
And Sebastian Stan has like 9 movies, and he's done 3 so far.
Right.
Bucky Barnes. That's like crazy. Like still 6 movies, 6 possible movies.
Although sort of I would have thought that they would have used Red Skull already because they had the whole Hydra reveal and stuff like that. I mean, that would have been a perfect opportunity to use Red Skull again.
Yeah, I was almost like when I saw like was it Robert Redford or who was in the Winter Soldier? I was like first I was thinking like, is this dude gonna like rip his face off and then then it's revealed that he's actually Red Skull or something? Because I was like waiting for
fun.
that.
I mean, that could have been a fun twist.
I was almost like, wait a second, this dude he might actually be something, but then he was just like regular bad guy.
He was just dude.
Yeah, he was just a dude dressed as another dude.
Yeah, he was a bad dude, but he didn't. Unfortunately, I mean, good actor, but unfortunately didn't have a sort of a.
He didn't have a super
good bad guy sort of role.
Yeah, but then again,
more generic.
But then again, Winter Soldier was more of a spy movie than like a superhero movie. Like.
Yeah, I guess, but it still had all the superheroes in it. So I don't know, and flying sort of helicarriers and stuff like that.
What was it there? The helicarriers that were under that. Those but it wasn't like it didn't have like.
So it wasn't very grounded because they.
Oh snap!
Flying and maybe they're. I don't know how realistic you view them, but.
I'm expecting them to be in the market like in the next 5 years.
Oh, okay. Will you be getting one?
Of course. Who doesn't?
Oh. I guess the people who don't belong to S.H.I.E.L.D. or have $5 billion, but.
Okay, so but anyway, good movie. Go see it now. Immediately.
Right now. Yes. I mean, if you listen to us to this point,
you don't need to go see it.
Probably seen it.
Or then you're just like, these guys were talking about these things and those things, but nothing makes sense. Because we've been talking about things like in different order than they happened.
Please comment to the YouTube about this.
Yes. Comment.
If you made it this far.
It's is it like, comment, and subscribe? See ya
Yeah,
next.
well, I'm okay with just one of those.
Okay, so
Take it.
we'll see you next time, guys.
Yes, until the next time.
See ya.